So hi everyone, today in this video we're going to develop another solutions for another type of problems that we face in our day-to-day life, always with a focus in trying to apply with obviously the help of the majority mathematics system, the best type of solution that can coming so from that mental models, what they explain, what are the patterns that they try so to has to learn, and so we getting the ability to apply that solution great as well in the face of understanding so the problems that we face. So it's always helpful to understand the world, but it's also to create solutions to problems and not just so for understand. Then, with that said, what we can so talk about today is the global inflation crisis that we're facing that makes the quality of life people decreasing a lot of the majority and large so of the population. Then so what do you have? We have average global inflation around 9.1%. For example, in food, in average 18%, in energy 40%. Extreme cases of that, we have Turkey, we have Argentina, and we have Zimbabwe as was the worst one. Root causes for that: supply chain shocks, energy dependency, speculative bubbles, currency devaluation, and greedflation, corporate profiteering. So we need to start looking for the causes. We need to start looking for mental models that explain them and mental models that create solutions for that. So first is the circular feedback loops, self-reinforcing collapse. What's the idea? Price hikes, it as well makes the wage demands, which so makes more hikes, which so makes hyperinflation, and so fixed by knowing it. We have the wage price anchors. Japan links salaries to productivity, not inflation, has made core inflation held at 0.5% for 30 years. And artificial intelligence price regulators, the Brazil's algorithm flags greedflation as fined 40 billion from price gouging corps in 2023. Second, the Jevons paradox: efficiency equals to excess demand. What's the idea? Cheap energy, money spikes consumption, and with that creates inflation, and so fix by knowing it. We have the cryptocurrency. Thinks the Venezuela's petrocoin backed by oil reserves has absorbed black market currency and inflation so decreased 50%. And energy sharing grids. Greece's island microgrids trade surplus solar and with that cut bills 40% broke oil dependency. 3. A bit of cover effect, so quick fixes tend to backfire. What's the idea? Interest rates hikes crush jobs but rarely tame supply side inflation, and then so fixed by knowing that. What do you have? We have supply chain DAOs, Ukraine farmers, more European Union logistic firms use blockchain, and then with that they cut food prices 25% in Poland as example. And then productivity first policy. South Korea invests in robotics, artificial intelligence over rate hikes has made inflation decrease 3% and GDP increased 40%. So inflation decreased to 3% and GDP increased 40% with that policy in South Korea. 4. Veblen goods, luxury fuels broad inflation. What's the idea? High-end price hikes normalize mid-tier inflation, and so fixed by knowing that. We have luxury surtaxes. France's taxes 25% on yachts and luxury cars, and with that funds subsidized staples for poor and social status swaps. Iran promotes frugal chic influencers, and with that demand status goods decrease 30%. 5. A bit of turbo economics. Inflation as energy leak. What's the idea? Weak currencies equals so to wasted energy to produce some goods, and then so fixed by knowing that. We have energy-backed currencies. Nigeria's naira petrol, and what so happens? 30% backed by oil gas reserves, and with that the currency stabilized. And local energy loops. Argentina towns print solar pesos, and they are tradable for kilowatts, and with that food prices decrease 20%. 6. A bit of limb effect. And charity Wiseman that tends to beat a lot of the modern finance. What's the idea? Pre-industrial systems that can beat fiat money cows. What's fixed so by knowing that? Grain standard revival. Turkey bases lira value on wheat reserves, and with that farm incomes increased and bread prices stable. And barter network 2.0. Zimbabwe's haptacus trades skills for goods and then bypassed 100% inflation. 7. Dunbar's markets, small scale stability. What's the idea? Localized economies resist global shocks and so fixed by knowing that. We have 150-mile food systems, Mexico banned produce imports and so local corn prices increased 30% and farmer jobs up coming from that initiative. And community crypto. Kenya's Sarafu coin for neighborhood trade. And with that, inflation near 0% in slums. 8. Anti-fragility. Thrive-through cows. What's the idea? Use inflation to build resilient alternatives and then fixed by knowing that. Crisis innovation zones. Lebanon startups repurpose waste into goods as created 40% of new GDP. And inflation-proof bonds. Investors fund local factories and as returns rise with inflation. And then Egypt built 500 micro factories as coming from that initiative. So we need to start looking for integrated solutions because what we have to understand the reality is that you have limited resources to apply all the ideas that you can have. So you have to select the better ones. You have to select the ones that are more efficiently can solve the problem that you face. And so normally the best solutions are the ones that are integrated, the ones that they combine a lot of the mental models in one so specific. And then so what was from our integrated solutions? We have inflation firewalls, the national strategic stockpiles, India's buffer of grain oils and releases during price spikes, and decentralized production 3D printed tools in Brazilian favelas cut import dependency 60%. Digital twin economies, artificial intelligence simulates policy impacts, and then with that, she'll avoid the disastrous subsidies after VR showed 200 inflation surge. Why this works? We have already examples. The Switzerland franc fortress, gold more stable policies, has made lowest inflation in Europe, 0.2%. And Botswana's diamond-backed pula, mineral reserves anchor currency, has made inflation average 3% for 20 years. Alright, every $1 in supply resilience tends to save 12 in inflation costs, is coming from a study of the World Bank. So interesting to see all of this. So all these mental models that have been used, they were just 8, but you can see that you just by knowing some of the mental models, you can already create really good solutions. You don't have like to get all the type of learnings that exist in the world. You can get just some like a few and you can already create a good type of creative solutions that have a higher probability to be correct when they're so gonna get to be translated when you get so that so when it's translated for the reality, you have more to like it and you have so done and created a good solution of that for that problem. So we expect that it has been shown in that video. I expect that you have liked enough, so, and I expect so to see in other videos as this channel is produced. I hope that you've got like the statement, the paper, that this type of channel can provide to you. I hope so. It was enough to my like. I expect you to subscribe, and so obviously so I expect to see in other videos. And then obviously, if you don't know how you can grasp these mental models, you can grasp from all the fields of study: economics, finance, psychology, engineering. You can grasp all of them. You don't need to study all books in this scenario. You can just like grasp the concepts, the patterns, the way that people in the hairs they look and they observe the world for what models, and apply them as so have been showed to you in this channel. And so it's what I can give you as a final trick. So without much more to say, just thank you and see you in the next one.